Um, Welcome once again. Now, I was having a conversation with someone earlier, and it was kind of really, it's just weird how aligned the universe actually is when you're truly aligned with yourself. And I'm a very spiritual person, but things happen that it's just hard to explain. Let's just put it that way. It's very hard to explain why these things happen and essentially what things have manifested in your life. And we were speaking about eating disorders and her eating disorder. And I said, actually, I have it on my notes to talk about my own eating disorder that I had this afternoon. And this is what this live is all about because I don't think eating disorders are spoken about. And this one that I had was a binge eating leading to exercise bulimia, really obsessive overeating and not seeing what was actually going on with my own body. Now, when I was growing up, I wasn't really this fit little kid or anything like that. I was the video game guy. I'd play on the Mega Drive, on the Master System, the PlayStation, N64, whatever it was. And I would be at that level where no one could beat me. I actually joke about it nowadays to my mum that I actually should have done that as a job and I would be a multimillionaire now in esports because it wasn't a thing back then, right? But I would be this guy that would be able to just smash it on the computer games, but was always last to get picked in the football team or in the sports lessons and these sorts of things. And it was very, very frustrating. I remember even doing physical education, PE, and I'd done it for my GCSEs, the high school qualifications here in the UK. And it was like, why am I doing this? Because I'm not in shape. I can't run around the field or anything. But I would always be at family parties at the buffet having multiple plates of food. You'd never think that I would be obsessed with food apart from eating it and overeating. But when I was 15, you've probably heard me speak about my story of losing my dad and how he was this hero of mine who was 47 years old. He used to get migraines. He was stressed out. And he went to a training event with his work on the Monday, absolutely healthy, shall we say, and then went into hospital with a migraine, had a stroke, passed away on the Saturday night. And that triggered something in me. And I didn't realize until a few years later that I would go to family events and I would have loads and loads of food and I was putting on weight. And then I ended up being the one that I didn't drink, never really got into the alcohol side of things or drug side of things in that way, in like the recreational drugs as that side of things until like the physique stuff came further down the line because of insecurities and things like that. But I would literally be pushing more food inside of me. And I remember that when I was training in a corporate job, when I was like 18 or 19, we had a month's worth of training. Me and my friend Sam, we ended up having a UK pizza, this takeaway store in Norwich where I lived. We would ring them up, and literally every single night we would ring them up through this training that they would actually know that our order was like double stacked chili burger with cheesy chips. And they would bring it basically just upon knowing our number. They'd come in, they'd have a chat, and it was that I could not say no when someone else was ordering. I could not say no. And then I went through a DJ, and then I found the gym. And when I found the gym, it was really, really powerful because I started to gain some control over thinking, actually, this body that I'm in, I can change this and no one can stop me. It was that I lost control, completely lost control when my dad passed away. I wasn't able to change that. I wasn't able to be in these team sports necessarily. Even so much as like playing basketball and stuff. I always loved the one-on-one stuff, the and one mixtape stuff, forgetting you had to put the ball in the actual net. But I ended up that I found this control. And this control was massively, massively powerful because no one could give me loads of food. I could say no to it. I could change my body. And I ended up thinking I was getting healthier. I was this insecure kid that had no self confidence, didn't like to look in the mirror, no confidence with women, nothing. Wouldn't do public speaking or anything like that. Catch me on a video on live, you put a camera in my face, I was the one that stuck my middle finger up or just pushed it away. And this was starting to give me confidence, shall we say. I jumped on the bodybuilding stage. I dropped just about £100. And I went from not being able to walk to the end of my driveway or run to the end of my driveway without needing an inhaler to getting on stage in fake tan in posing trunks, showing my whole body off and posing it, being judged by judges. And that triggered something in me because you had to be so obsessed, so super obsessed with getting every single gram of food right. This is back in my early 20s. Every single gram of food you had to get in there, weigh it out. You knew exactly every single calorie. There was nothing left to chance. And then you went on stage and showed off your hard work. And I got second place in my first ever show, the only show I ever placed in. Then I've moved on forward from that. Then another show, I'd done like 7 shows. And all the time I was getting less and less secure to the point where I actually wanted to take things to improve my body composition and to improve my muscle mass, thinking that this would make me more confident because I needed to be bigger. But at the same time, I remember that I would train every single day, even twice a day, then doing cardio on top of that. So 3 sessions a day sometimes. My whole day in the corporate world was, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to do some cardio, cook my egg whites with 1 egg yolk and have my oatmeal, then go to work, have all my meals prepared, ready to not even have a lunch break, literally going on not ready when I was actually supposed to be working, have a meal in 5 minutes, then go back to doing my calls. Then I would end up that I would leave there, go to the gym, come home, prepare my food, do some more cardio. There wasn't really a social life apart from my mates in the gym. Now, I did make some absolutely amazing mates. I'm still friends with some of them to this day. But it was all a case of so much insecurity and kind of a form of self-harm. Now, the other flip side of this is that people noticed that I was so obsessed with everything and that it was controlling my moods. I wouldn't have this social life. I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't go out. I remember having a date with someone and taking chicken and broccoli to the cinema for my first date. As I've said before, it didn't get a second date. And even the other things like weighing out every single bit of food when I cooked for people and these sorts of things. But then on the flip side, when I fell off big. And it was that so overly restricted, so overly obsessed that I would fall off and feel that I'd make myself sick at sometimes, and I would feel that I was a failure. And we're talking thousands of calorie binges. That I would start having like 1 or 2 custard cream or bourbon biscuits and end up having 2 or 3 packs of them. Then the same things with Jaffa cakes, packs upon packs upon packs. That caused a lot of issues within my gut, actually causing problems with my stomach lining from the sickness, from the excess food that I still have to deal with to this day. And it took a lot of work counseling, took a lot of work of knowing that I didn't need to keep taking these things that like the steroids and stuff that would go into your body and then you would think you would be secure and you weren't secure. So much so that I ended up screwing up my hormones. But that was another blessing in disguise because I learned so much about the hormonal side of things that now I know loads to help other people with hormone issues, with testosterone replacement, with hormone replacement, with menopausal side of things, and how there is another way to get your body on track without needing to take certain things if we manage the stress. And then it comes to the exercise side of things. I've worked with so many endurance athletes from professional world champion athletes to your weekend warriors. And I see so many times that people are using this so they can eat more food. We're clocking up the calories, overtraining, running once, twice, 3 times a day. The same like I was doing with weight training and cardio once, twice, 3 times a day, because it would allow me to eat more. And there was just this complete control, shall we say. This control that was happening was scary. And I would speak to people about it. And I spoke to this lady about it today. And we were talking about how that you would train and then you would burn out. I remember that I had 0 sex drive. I remember I couldn't sleep. I was waking up 4 or 5 times during the night in my mid-20s. Like I'd screwed up my hormones, I'd screwed up things like my thyroid and all that sort of stuff, which, yes, yeah, blessing in disguise. It's allowed me to learn this knowledge to this day of how to fix these things, how to help people with these things inside and out, work on the brain health from the top down. But it was very, very stressful. And the thing that we have is that now I know what I'm doing with food. Now I feel comfortable with food. Now I feel in control in a good way with food, so that there is balance there. I can go out. I know what I can order. Do I eat crap? No, I don't eat crap because I don't feel the need for it. I don't feel the craving for it. And if I do have it, so say Christmas time that everyone's having it, I'll have a couple of days of eating whatever I want on that day, and I start eating and want more. I feel like rubbish after Christmas Day and Boxing Day that I have to just eat healthier stuff, real whole foods, and it starts to nourish me and my brain function works. And I notice that if I do have the stuff that doesn't necessarily serve my body, shall we say, if we're using that term, the brain function drops, my energy drops, my moods drop, my motivation drops, my productivity when it comes to the actual work side of things drop, and things just don't work. So I wonder, why do people see this as norm, that they want to push their business to this next level, but they push their health to the side in doing it, and their business getting to that next level takes longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. And it's kind of worrying. We were saying about when people want to get these goals in place and they want to improve their health, it doesn't have to be obsessive. I work with so many people that have kids, have a husband or wife, that they're the ones in charge of the food. They go out shopping and they're the ones that end up that they're cooking at night. They're getting all the ingredients. You can still improve even without stressing your other half out, even without cooking 3 different meals for your partner, for your kids, and for yourself. You can still improve because there are other meals in the day. It's not necessarily those 2-3 meals you eat together. It's the snacks. It's the habits you're having. It's the late night TV that is just mind numbing for some people, which means you're then staring at screens all the time and not able to sleep. It's the late night emails that you keep sending because you're not creating the boundaries in there. And it's been a journey for me. And I'm open about this stuff. I'm an open book. You can ask me any question. I'll give you an honest answer, because I know that these things will help people from hearing it from someone that appears on the outside that has got everything, his shit in check. When I've been through a hell of a lot to get here, therapy, loads of training, loads of qualifications to get to this place, to know what I'm talking about and know what I'm doing. When it comes to eating disorders, emotional eating is something I've dealt with a lot. Now, I remember that it was like Pavlov's dog, and I've spoken about my dad earlier in this live, and how we used to watch Match of the Day together. We used to have packs of crisps, Walker's 6-pack of crisps between us on a Saturday night. But every time the Match of the Day theme tune came on after he died, I would want to have crisps. Now, I wasn't craving crisps. I was craving that connection with my dad, which wasn't going to come back. So how could I stop that? Well, awareness was the first thing. A client of mine that I worked with a couple of years ago, one of her sons had a heart attack at a really young age. And then him and her other son went off to university, really, really close by to where she lived. But she used to get them chocolate. And her grandparents used to get her chocolate when she was little on a Friday night. So it was this comforting thing, this nurturing thing with protecting your kids to get them chocolate. And when they went away to university, she started binging out on the chocolate. And we had to dive into it. There's an amazing exercise I do with some clients that have emotional eating things going on, that actually she'd done this exercise and she realized that it wasn't the chocolate she was after. It was that connection that she had with her kids that she wanted to then fulfill with having this chocolate, when she could have just gone and got a coffee with them, or rang them up, or text them, or FaceTimed them, these sorts of things. And I think my own journey that I've had with disordered eating or eating disorders, whatever we want to call it, with binge eating, with making yourself sick, with exercise bulimia. I remember I used to feel so guilty. I'd have one of these binge outs and I feel so guilty that I would then go to the gym the next morning and do 2-3 hours of cardio. I would literally go for 3-hour walks, or like I would just burn myself out even more, fighting fire with fire. Now, I was in my early 20s and screwed up my hormones then from doing so much overtraining. Imagine and that's stress. Your body doesn't see physical stress, emotional stress, environmental stress. It just sees stress. So I was going through the emotional stress of losing a parent, growing up, and then getting control, emotional over the food side of things, of what I could or could not control, and then physical over the training side of things. 3 big stresses that were overtraining me and pushing my body to the limit. Imagine what that does when I was in my mid-20s doing it, what it does when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, when your hormones have had a lot more stress to deal with, and you're trying to run a business when you do it, that you can move forward with this stuff. It takes time. It's not a quick click my fingers and we're done. We're overnight fixed. It's something which I'm so super, super passionate about helping people with. I'm not going to go into a massive pitch about anything or anything like that here. I just wanted to talk to you about my own experience with disordered eating and how obsessed I used to get. I remember once as well, I used to do this little food window that Saturday nights at 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. I could have whatever I want, 3 hours. I would probably get 4,000 calories in at that time. And I would be clock watching at 9:45 thinking, shit, I've got 15 minutes left. 15 minutes to eat as much as I want. But then Sunday I felt crap. Sunday morning, I would then feel so crap that I would then go to the gym and do loads of cardio and stress myself out even more. It made my gut not be able to have. I got so many intolerances as a result, which I'm working through now and building my resilience back up. My immune system was screwed. So please, 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 if you have issues with this stuff, if you are struggling with stress or anything like that, this isn't a pitch or anything, but reach out, drop me a message. If this video has helped you, drop me a message. Let me know what your experiences have been. And if there's any questions you have, anything I can help you with, let me know. If you are working towards your health and pushing yourself forward with that whilst building your business, let me know. Maybe there's something I could just recommend, point you in the right direction. Or if you've got a question, something you're struggling with, I've already done a video for or something, I'll send you the link. Let me know and let's work together to help you move forward. Thank you for watching.